Why do we forget things? Wouldn't it be easier to remember everything you have seen or listened to? And how can we trick our brains to remember vocabulary faster? Alright, so in this video guys, I'm going to answer some common questions about how our memory works and show you a powerful app that will change your life not only to learn languages but also to learn everything you want. First, in order to improve our memory, we need to understand how our brains build it. We don't have any specific place for memory in the brain. What we call memory is actually a neural pathway, that is, the connection between neurons. Imagine that you need to go from the point A to the point B in a labyrinth. So at the beginning, it takes a little bit longer to find your way. But as you do the same path over and over and over, it gets faster and easier, right? The same happens with memory. Every time you retrieve some information, it strengthens this path. It means that it will be easier for the brain to recall it later. But if you don't retrieve this information over time, neurons will have a hard time trying to reach the same spot. And if you don't reveal that specific information ever again, well, then you forget it. The speed at we forget information over time is shown by Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. With this curve, we can see how long it takes to forget any learned information. So we know when we need to recall it so that we progressively retain the information. For example, if you learn a word today, you will repeat it tomorrow and then a week from now, and well, you got it. Increasing intervals over time. That's the so-called spaced repetition system. But you don't need to reinvent the wheel because we live in the 21st century and people already made an app based on the spaced repetition system. It's called Anki and it's totally free. So as you can see here, it has versions for almost all of the platforms. It uses a flashcard system, so you add a card and the answer on the back can be a word in Spanish that you have learned today. For instance, aburrido, which means boring or bored. When you click in study, now the word that you put on front will pop up. Then you try to remember the meaning and click in show answer. So you choose one option like hard, good or easy, and boom, Anki does all of the remaining work. The words that you got wrong will be shown more frequently, and the ones that you got right will be shown in a week, then 2.5 weeks, and so on. So it's very important that you be totally honest doing this. Don't cheat saying that you got it right if you got it wrong, because that will impair your learning process. That's all folks. If you have any question, suggestion or constructive criticism, leave a comment and I'm going to answer as soon as possible. If you like the content, just click the like button down below and subscribe. See ya!